Hello everyone, I'm back again with another review. This time it's a Farish Jubilee class steam locomotive in BR green with the early emblem. This has been released now about 18 months in several variants. This one in early crest. It's also been released in LMS Crimson 372477 called Trafalgar. It's been released in Late Crest with the name Mars, and it's also going to be released again in Early Crest and Late Crest with other names and running numbers in the near future. A little bit of history of the locomotive itself. It's a Stanier locomotive, and it was built at the same time as the Class 5, famous Class 5 locomotive. That's between about 1934, 1936, nearly 200 were built, and they were built for mainline passenger traffic. They all passed into BR ownership when the railways were merged in 1948 to create British Railways, and this one is running number 45611 in the early BR emblem. So let's take the top off so we can have a little bit of a closer look at it. It comes in this nice protective hard case, a piece of plastic to protect it. Now I got this at the Alexandra Palace show. As you can see, I don't have any outer sleeve or any paperwork that came with it. Like a lot of other people, I forged over to the Barkman stand, and they have a lot of returns of locomotives that might have a slight fault with them that they get running and check, and then they sell them often at shows for slightly lower prices. And this was, I believe, had a sticker on it for I think £65. The recommended retail price is closer to 95, but after a short negotiation I managed to pick it up for £50 cash, which is not bad going. So there's a look at it in the box, and it is a blue ribboned model, and you can see that straight away when you look at it. It's really nicely detailed. I'll get it out and have a closer look at it in a minute. With it you also get a little packet here. This one is vac pipes and dummy hook couplers and even little bits of glazing. This one, slightly more interesting, a spare wheel set with gears, yeah, and NEM rapido coupling, and also a spare front bogie with larger wheels than the one that's actually fixed onto the locomotive at the moment. And this enables you to put this on. It looks more prototypical because the wheels are larger. These look a little bit small, but obviously you can only put this on if you have large enough radius curves for this to negotiate. They recommend 18-inch curves if you want to put this on the front of the locomotive. Let's just pop her out of here and have a closer look at her. So retrieving her from the box is a slightly delicate process because the loco and the tender are fixed together, but they give you this little piece of plastic which you can use to ease it up, and that makes it a little bit easier to get it out. Okay, and then you can grab hold of it, mind the finger marks, and have a much closer look at it. And the detail you got it is really excellent. Lovely mechanism, some nice fine rodding along the sides. This is a single chimney version. They have released a couple of, I believe, one or two later crest versions with the double chimney, with a later change to the design. Some nice fine printing on the back of the tender, hook couplers above where the rapidos are. Coal is a little bit plasticky, but you could probably cover that with some real coal. And you can see here the connection between the tender and the locomotive. They can be separated, but then obviously you've got to plug them back up. Here's the little front bogie, which tends to hang down. It's when not in use, not on the track, and to change that over, it's one small screw which you need to remove. pop the new front bogie on and do the screw up. At the front, again nicely detailed, some nice riveting on the buffer beam, hook coupler, steps on the front here. As far as shape, in terms of the prototype go, it's a very good accurate representation. It's DCC ready, takes a 6-pin chip which goes in the tender, and although I don't have the instructions, they are available on the Graham Farish website, so easy to download them, which shows you the step-by-step instructions to fitting the DCC chip in this. Let's put it on a piece of track so I can get my feet away and you can get a bit of a closer look at it. Well, there she is on the track. This is easy track, 2mm, and it's code 40, so that gives you an idea of the scale. And I don't think I need to tell you, she looks stunning. I love her. Obviously that's still with the smaller front bogie wheels. The larger ones are in the bag here. You can see that there's difference in size. These are much more prototypical to the actual locomotive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the camera and swap the front bogie over so you can see the difference in the size, just how much nicer that looks. But obviously, note of caution, you have to be careful about the radius of your curves if you're going to run it with the other larger wheeled front bogie. Well, there she is on the track now with the larger scale front bogie, and I think you can see that just does look a lot better. And just for comparison, here is the old one on the track next to it. I've also not bothered to put the front coupler into this. These are NEM coupler pockets, by the way, both front and rear, so they can be changed for something a little bit less clunky and obtrusive than the Rapido coupler, which you can see there on the smaller front bogie. I've just had a quick look at the instructions, and they recommend 18-inch curves for the larger wheels and 12-inch for the smaller wheels, which is odd considering that Farish say that for all their locomotives, 12-inch minimum radius, and then they put 10-inch radius curves in their sets, and that's quite a odd contradiction. Just a quick guide to how you actually change this. There is 3 screws underneath. You undo the front screw 3 or 4 turns just to allow the front to drop a little bit, and there is a small peg underneath which the coupler is actually hooked onto, so you simply unhook this one off the peg, hook the new one on, and screw the screw back up. It's a little bit fiddly, but not too tricky a job. But there it is in all its glory, and I just love it. I think it's exquisite. It's such a good representation. The mechanism is lovely, the detail is lovely. As I say, you get extra glazing strips, you get shorter couplers, and a lot of vacuum piping and detailing which you can put onto the front of the locomotive if you want. And I think that's well worth doing because it does improve the look quite considerably. This is not yet chipped. Let's see her running on a piece of track, and it will be on 12 volts DC. There she goes, still bedding in a little bit, could run a little bit more smoothly once I've run her in a little bit more. Now the loco is tender drive, and it does have traction tyres, but the pickups are on the Locomotive. That's why it has electrical connection between the Locomotive and the tender. And I'm just running it on a little gauge master controller. And as you can see, with a piece of straight track, you can use those larger wheels for the front bogie quite easily. So there she is, the Grand Farish Jubilee. My verdict, a solid 9 out of 10 here, because it's beautifully detailed, it's DCC ready, blue ribboned, you get the extra front bogie, you get some lovely little parts that you can add to extra detail to the front of the Locomotive, and it runs really nicely. Well, that's it from this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. There should be more videos along soon. Please comment, rate and subscribe in the box below, and I'll be back with more videos soon. Until then, take care and see you soon. Thanks for watching.